In 1965, a baby girl was born in New York who would grow up remembering almost every single day of her life in perfect, relentless detail. Her name is Jill Price, and unlike the rest of us, she cannot forget. Most people struggle to remember what they ate last Tuesday. Some cannot recall where they were 5 years ago on this date. But Jill can tell you what day of the week it was, what the weather felt like, what song was playing on the radio, and how she felt emotionally. On almost any date stretching back to her childhood, not because she kept a perfect diary, not because she trained her memory, but because her brain simply refuses to let go. Jill Price was born in 1965 and raised in Southern California. As a child, nothing seemed unusual. She was bright, observant, and sensitive. But around the age of 11, something strange began to happen. Dates started attaching themselves to her mind. When someone mentioned a day, any day, it instantly lit up inside her like a calendar exploding into life. She did not just remember events. She remembered the feeling of the air, the clothes she wore, the headlines in the news, the conversations she overheard. Every memory came wrapped in emotion. At first, she thought this was normal. She assumed everyone's mind worked like hers. But over time, she began to realize something was different. While her friends forgot arguments and embarrassing moments, Jill carried them forward. While others healed by forgetting, she relived. By her teenage years, she noticed that when she heard a date, her mind automatically scanned backward. September 15, 1983. That was a Thursday. It was warm. She argued with a friend. A particular song played that afternoon. The memory did not feel distant. It felt immediate. It was as if her life was not behind her. It was still happening. As she grew older, this ability did not fade. It sharpened. Every passing day added another permanent entry to an ever-expanding archive in her mind. Imagine living like that. No faded childhood memories. No blurry teenage years. No softened heartbreak. For most of us, time acts like a gentle eraser. It removes the sharp edges of pain. It blurs embarrassment. It allows grief to settle. But for Jill, yesterday never really left. By her 20s, the weight of her memory began to feel less like a gift and more like a burden. She described her mind as being stuck in a constant replay. Dates triggered floods. A casual mention of a year could send her spiraling into hours of involuntary recollection. Not daydreaming, not nostalgia, reliving. When her mother passed away, she could not let the grief slowly fade. Every detail of that loss stayed as sharp as the day it happened. The hospital room, the exact words spoken, the feeling in her chest, and it never dulled. In 2000, Jill decided to write to researchers. She did not call herself gifted. She thought something might be wrong. She feared she had a disorder. Eventually, her letter reached scientists at the University of California, Irvine. One of the researchers who took interest in her case was Dr. James McGaugh, a leading neuroscientist studying memory. At first, they were skeptical. People exaggerate. Memory is unreliable. Even the most confident recollections often contain errors. So they tested her. They gave her random dates from decades earlier. They asked what day of the week it was, what major news events happened, what she was doing personally. She answered quickly, calmly, accurately. September 11, 2001. She could describe where she was when the news broke, the emotions she felt, the sequence of events throughout the day. Researchers cross-checked her memories against calendars, archives, and historical records. Again and again, she was correct. Her condition was eventually named Highly Superior Autobiographical Memory, or HSAM. It is extremely rare. Only a small number of people worldwide have been identified with this ability. But here is the important part. Jill does not have a photographic memory. She cannot memorize long lists of random numbers effortlessly. She does not instantly recall textbook pages. Her ability is specific. It is personal. It is autobiographical. Her own life is etched into her brain like permanent ink. Brain scans revealed subtle differences in areas connected to memory and obsessive thinking. Scientists believe that emotional intensity may play a role. Her brain does not just store events. It attaches powerful feeling to them, making them impossible to erase. But what sounds like a superpower in a headline feels very different in reality. Imagine never forgetting a humiliating mistake, never forgetting a betrayal, never forgetting a painful goodbye. For most of us, memory is selective. It protects us. It lets us move on. Forgetting is not weakness. It is survival. For Jill, moving on is complicated. She once described her memory as a curse. She said it can be exhausting, like carrying every version of yourself at once. Every past argument, every regret, every joyful moment, all equally alive. There is no peaceful blur of childhood. There is no comfortable haze over heartbreak. Everything is vivid. Everything is present. And here is where the mystery deepens. Scientists still do not fully understand why her brain works this way. There is no clear training method, no genetic switch that guarantees it. Some believe it may be linked to obsessive tendencies, where the brain repeatedly revisits personal events. Others think emotional encoding plays a key role. But even today, decades later, Jill remains one of the most studied cases in memory research. She later co-wrote a memoir titled The Woman Who Cannot Forget. In it, she describes the loneliness of living inside a mind that never quiets, because memory is not just about facts, it is about feeling. And when feeling never fades, neither does the past. Here is the twist that many people do not expect. Despite remembering nearly every day of her life, Jill still struggles with the future. She cannot use her memory to predict what will happen tomorrow. She cannot escape anxiety about what is coming next. Her extraordinary recall does not grant her control over time. It simply anchors her to it. And that raises a deeper question. If you could remember every day perfectly, would you truly want to? We romanticize memory. We fear forgetting. We record our lives through photos, videos, and social media, desperate to preserve every moment. But perhaps forgetting is one of the brain's greatest gifts, because forgetting allows healing. Forgetting allows growth. Forgetting allows us to become someone new. Jill Price teaches us something unexpected. Memory alone does not define a life. It is not how much you remember. It is how you move forward. She carries her entire past with her. Every joy, every pain, every ordinary Tuesday. And yet, she still must wake up each morning like the rest of us, uncertain of what the day will bring. In a world obsessed with remembering everything, maybe the real mystery is why our brains were designed to forget. Because sometimes, the ability to let go is the greatest gift of all.